Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we are gonna talk about front-end development. So we'll be talking about major technologies you should master or learn in order to become a front-end developer in 2021. So this is a specific video to 2021 because technology are changing rapidly and we never know that what will come next, and it will be start booming and people are gonna use it. So this specific technology I'll be listing will be applicable for 2021 because they are booming right now and people are using and loving it, and they are performing so well that everybody is getting hands on it and using it in their use. So let's get started. The first and foremost, the building blocks are HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Nobody can skip HTML. So HTML is the building block of the websites, and in every website you visit uses HTML in any other form as well. Suppose JSX, it is other form of writing HTML in JavaScript file, but it under the hood it uses HTML. So at the end the browser understand only HTML, nothing other than that, so that all the things that under the hood goes on compiles down to HTML only. So HTML is the language you should definitely look for. Whatever you learn in the next phase, it doesn't matter, HTML, CSS and JavaScript is must needed. So first of all HTML happened, then move on to CSS. So CSS is for styling the structure. So with the help of HTML you give structure of the page. Okay, I will having paragraph here, I will be having heading here, I will having images here, I will be having link here. So this is the structure overall. So that's provide you a skeleton. So with the help of CSS you style them. So what the styling is, you have the skeleton, you put on clothes, you put on colors, you put on any other thing on the skeleton, so it looks good actually. So imagine having a website with looks, color and content but not interactivity. So there JavaScript comes in. So next thing should be the JavaScript. So this is three major building blocks of the web: HTML, CSS and JavaScript. You should definitely learn before moving to any other things or technology. So here also a small point is there. Slowly Sass or less that are preprocessor of CSS are removing CSS a bit, but again browser don't understand Sass or less, you need to write CSS. But what Sass and less allow you to do, write more structure and beautiful code, and in order at the last it compile down to CSS. So at the end browser understands CSS, but you are writing less than Sass that is more understandable and flexible to the users or the developer we is developing. So Sass and less are gaining much more popularity than CSS and everybody using it. But again, for understanding Sass as well, that is CSS only, to learn CSS. So first and foremost HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Once you have mastered this technology, you have built a couple of projects or any other thing, like whatever the method you are following for practicing these technologies. So I would suggest to move on to Bootstrap. Nowadays, like Bootstrap is highly used in measure the corporate and other build other things as well, but slowly there are other things like framework specific libraries are coming in, but Bootstrap will still be gonna there because there are majority of site use Bootstrap. But Bootstrap I'll be keeping it optional, that okay you can learn or you can learn it. So you have in your plate HTML, CSS and JavaScript, and Bootstrap is optional right now. So you have three technologies. Then I'll suggest move on to JavaScript version of ES6, because right now ES11 is there but people are still using ES5 version of it. So in 2015 ES6 was launched and I still see people using the previous version of ES6. So I highly recommend to move to ES6 version of JavaScript right now, because this is the perfect time. If you're not doing it, then you're always going on leaving some features behind, like security features and other features, awesome features that make life easier. So once you have this ES6, then let's talk about the CSS preprocessor. The booming and most used is right now is SCSS, Sass. So there is also another one that is less, but it is used less compared to the Sass. So Sass is booming right now, so I would suggest if you're choosing anyone, choose Sass, or you can also choose less based your own preferred one. So there are two options, Sass or less. So after choosing this CSS preprocessor, you have 5 things on the plate: HTML, CSS, JavaScript, ES6 version of the JavaScript, and SAS or less. After that, start choosing a framework. So there are 3 booming frameworks right now: React, Angular, and Vue.js. So people majority go with React when they start because it is a small library and you can master it in the couple of days, whereas Angular has great big ecosystem to understand and it takes a bit more larger learning curve than React. Then we have a great technology that is Vue coming in right now. People are adapting it and using it, so that's all upon you. I'll bring some videos that how you can choose this framework between this framework, but right now I am giving you 3, that is Angular, React, and Vue. So once you have mastered this or start learning this, you will see that okay, Angular uses TypeScript. So TypeScript is a language built on top of JavaScript by Microsoft. So TypeScript gives the type definition in JavaScript, so it reduces the error, like it shows the error in the VS Code itself. There are a couple of features built in, so TypeScript is good thing to have on the plate. So learning, you can also use TypeScript in React also. So learning TypeScript is a good idea because majority of the large code bases are built on TypeScript right now. So after learning JavaScript, you should definitely try TypeScript and then move on to these 3 frameworks: Angular, React, or Vue, because TypeScript is booming and it's super good. Like I personally use it and find it awesome than JavaScript. Imagine that you are having JavaScript features as well as you are on top of that you are having something else that reduces your errors. So once you have this on the plate, so this is specific to front end. So having a knowledge of Node, but again having little bit knowledge of Node will be good enough. Then you can have a knowledge of npm or yarn, that are package managers that are used to install packages on the frameworks. After that, I'll come to 2 frameworks that are booming majorly, that is Gatsby and NextJs. So Gatsby is a static site generator and is super blazingly fast, and NextJs is a framework for React.js and it's do server-side rendering. So I'll be bringing a video that compares Gatsby and NextJs, what you can choose, but these 2 are booming right now, and once you have mastered React, you can move on to this framework as well. After that, there are a couple of developers who like it or not, but you are also required to learn some testing framework. So testing framework allows you to test the components, and various people are investing so much of time in testing products, be it unit testing, be it scenario testing, and there are auto testing as well. The couple of companies are having test team for this. So testing is also important, but most of the people don't go for it. But if you wanna become a good developer, front-end developer, you should definitely try out testing. Some example are Mocha, some Chai, Just, and you can select any of the testing framework. After that, one of the most important thing, that is Git. Git is essential for any of the project you are building. So Git is super good, super simple, and it's highly usable in any of the project. So if you don't know what Git is, I have a tutorial series on Git. I am halfway through it. You can check it out, what is Git. So Git, you go any company, they are using Git. It is a version control system. After that, after having this particular set of technologies, I would highly suggest for a front-end developer that development does not only matter. The matter is the design scene as well. So now the front-end also is going to divide into various parts: the front-end of the front-end and the back-end of the front-end. So the front-end of the front-end sees on the visual parts and things like design system and all, and back-end of the front-end usually focus on Redux, state management, making API calls and things like that. So front-end is also dividing nowadays into various parts. So I will highly suggest to learn one of the tool like Figma or AdobeXD, because one of the design you get from the designer are based on this particular prototyping tool as well. So you need to understand them better to get most of the design you're getting from the designer, as well as understanding this typography, understanding this layout, understanding colors, highly suggested to have, because this give you a design sense. And okay, once you are building websites and coding out, and you understand, okay, this font is not correct, and you can tell your designer, okay, this font is not correct and I have some suspicion, and they can change that, and you can have that design sense. And at the end, like you can also design websites, have the prototype, so to your customer or client or anyone you are building for, then they will approve that, then only develop. These are the kind of workflow for front-end development right now. And this one I found out very important technologies to master. They are highly booming. And that's it for this video, and I'll bring couple of parts. Do let me know for bringing the idea for some other video. Like if you're new here, consider subscribing. I bring latest tech tutorials on this channel. There is a button, if you're using YouTube, you might know there is a subscribe button. So that is for the video. I'll see you next time. Thank you.